and we're going to go straight to the homework question. Because y'all sent a lot, and I'm glad. Because I told y'all, the only way to learn this stuff is to what? Do it over and over and over. But it's going to pay off. When we get to the antiderivatives, you're going to say, hey, this is easy. Oh yeah, the question that I went over the other day, it says second derivative. And I think it's this one. And I didn't take the second derivative. See those two dots? See those two? I didn't see that. I only saw it after class. I needed to take the second derivative, so we'll do that as soon as we get there. Let's go ahead and start on the 1.7 questions. I'm not going to cover duplicates, okay? I'm going to run through and do as many as I can and not do the duplicates. If there's duplicates, hopefully y'all, can feed off the first one that I did. So let's go with 1.715/7. And this is the quotient rule. Now, could you use the product rule here? Yes or no? Yes. You could bring that 7 minus 5x to the second power. You could bring it up to the top if you wanted to. I don't care. Let's do that. Let's do both. So this could be rewritten, y is equal to 3x squared times 7 minus 5x to the negative 2. And over here, we'll write it is equal to 3x to the third. I'm sorry, 3x squared. Oh, that's to the third. There we go. 3x to the third over 7 minus 5x to the second power. So at this point, you could write either way. You could do the product rule, or you could do the quotient rule. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. First, times the derivative of the second. Plus the second. Y'all have to excuse me, I got the coronavirus. Second.
Sorry.
Times the derivative of the first.
It's all Mr. Miyagi's fault.
Yep.
Yeah. It's airborne now.
3. It'll be in Greenville. They'll find some dog with a cold, and they'll say it's the coronavirus. That's what Greenville does. I mean WYFF. First case of coronavirus in Greenville. A bird was found today, and it has coronavirus. Joke.
Hey, they make
Over
money
here,
now.
We've got denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime, 7 minus 5x squared, over denominator what? Denominator to the 4th power. I'll go ahead and raise that to the 4th power. Now let's take the derivatives. So we got 3x to the third. And let's take the derivative with the chain rule. So that's going to be negative 2 times 7 minus 5x to the negative 3 times what? Negative 5 plus 7 minus 5x to the negative 2 times 9x what? Squared.
Squared.
I'm going to move all this over y'all continue to work on it. Now I'll do this side over here. 7 minus 5x to the second power times 9x squared minus brackets 3x squared, 3x to the third times 2, 7 minus 5x to the first power times negative 5. All over 7 minus 5x to the fourth power. Now over here, we're through with the calculus. All we got to do now is just do algebra. So I'm going to bring this negative 5 out. What's negative 5 times negative 2? 10 times 3, 30x to the third, 7 minus 5x to the negative 3. Ooh, that's supposed to be on the outside. Plus 9x times 7 minus 5x to the negative 2. And of course that's going to be 30x to the third over 7 minus 5x to the third plus 9x over 7 minus 5x to the second. I'm going to leave that there because you know you got to get a common denominator, and I'm just going to leave that there for right now. Well, whatever. All right, so that 9x squared times 7 minus 5x to the second power. Well, this negative, negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. So I'm going to just write it out. I don't have much room, but that's negative 15x cubed times 2 is what? 30? And you see the 30 is starting to emerge. 30x cubed, 7 minus 5x to the first, and we're going to factor out that 7 minus 5x to the first, and it's going to cancel with that on the denominator and make the 7 5x. So you're starting to see that you can get the same answer. So 7 minus 5x to the fourth. All right, I'm going to make this whole thing smaller now that y'all have gotten that far. Questions so far?
Nope.
This is a pretty good test question. I don't mind this test question because I'm not trying to trick you or anything. Now, if they try to do some funky stuff on the answer, I don't think that's right, but so far it looks like this is pretty straightforward. Because this, I can get a common denominator of 7 minus 5x to the third power, right? And that'll give me 30x cubed plus 9x times 7 minus 5x there. And that's pretty much what you're going to get over here. So 9x squared times 7 minus 5x squared plus 30x to the third times 7 minus 5x. Y'all starting to see it?
Yep.
So 7 minus 5x to the 4th. And you can factor out a 7 minus 5x up here. So I'm going to cancel, that's supposed to be to the 2nd power. I'm sorry. Right here. So I'm going to cancel that out. And that'll be a 1. That'll cancel out. And this will be to the 3rd. So 9x squared times 7 minus 5x plus 30x to the 3rd over 7 minus 5x to the 3rd power. And that should be what we have right there.
Square on 9x.
Where?
9x squared.
Oh, thank you. Did I drop the square? Yeah. Thank you. So you can see, some of you may like to do the product rule. You can see the product rule, I put in 2 or 3 extra steps, but the product rule can be a whole lot quicker than the quotient rule. And I don't know what I don't see, the only other thing you can do is distribute the 9x squared. And you may be able to combine with 45x to the 3rd and what's 45 to 30? Okay, remember that's 75 because it shows up in the answer. You know where it came from because I'm not going to do it. Let's see what they got. Good question.
I think
I'm sorry, what did y'all say?
I think it'll be 15.
15.
Or
Well, they
negative
must have
15.
did some more then. I don't know what else they did. $3x squared. Negative 5x plus 21. There's negative 5. They distributed over 7. There's 7 minus 5x to the 3rd. So they just they distributed the 9x squared. They distributed and combined like terms, it looks like, and then factored out something. So you can play with that, and you should get. The main thing is the denominator is the same, and that means that they just simplified the top. I'm trying to see how they simplified it. Let's see, 9x squared. 9 times 7 is what?
63.
63 and 45. Oh, that's a minus 45. There it is. Minus. And negative 45 plus 30 is 15. And that's where you see the negative. There it is right there. So it turns out to be decent. Or you could just factor out a 3 here and a 3 here and get 10. And then you'd still get the same thing. All right, next one. That was 1.715. This is 1.721/8. 21/8. Rewrite it and use the product rule. Why are you going to rewrite it? Because radicals and calculus don't mix. So y is equal to x squared times 2x minus 7 to the 1/2 power. All right, go to it. That means, Mr. Miyagi, Danielson. Nelson, I know y'all working on paper and pencil, aren't you? I know y'all doing this problem, not playing on your computers, please. Jake, what's the matter, man? You look depressed.
No, I'm good.
Hmm.
I just didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking and teaching.
So what, you have a question or something? Or are you just depressed?
No, I do got a question.
What's the question?
Could you change it back to
No.
where we get like 5 attempts instead of 2?
Yeah, I'll change it. Just remind me after class.
Because I emailed you or texted you yesterday and you left me on red.
I ignored you. Actually, I fell asleep. I took Benadryl and Claritin.
You do got the corona.
What?
You really do have the coronavirus.
I got the corona, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and SARS, whatever. I got them all, man.
Oh, Lord.
Remember, I live near Greenville.
At least it's not Columbia.
Well, actually, Columbia is more of a big city than Greenville is.
Yeah.
Greenville's a wannabe city. You wait and see what I tell you. I give it another couple of days, and there'll be a WYFF person find something having to do with the coronavirus, and they're gonna blow it up and scare everybody to death. Yes, we have a report that lady's cousin's brother-in-law's sister in Greenville has coronavirus, but she lives in Atlanta. But her cousin lives in Greenville.
They're going to put her on quarantine.
Yeah, and she ain't even got it, but she's kidding. All right, first times the derivative of the second. Plus the second. Times the derivative of the first. Now y'all might as well give up on this because y'all got a fraction in here and y'all can't do those, so I might as well just go ahead and do it, right?
Absolutely.
X squared, 1/2, 2x minus 7 to the what? Negative 1/2. And the derivative of 2 inside. Plus 2x minus 7 to the 1/2. Derivative of x squared is 2x. All right, do some canceling and combining, and you should be able to get something that's workable. Make sure nobody's Skyping in and my kids are not in jail. My kids may have the coronavirus.
Did anybody get mad at you on Facebook when you put "you suck" on your daughter's wall?
No, they freak out when I do some stuff though. She did get 2 or 3 texts that says your dad's mean.
What'd she say?
She laughed at it. Oh, she laughed at when I put "you suck" because it was her birthday. Yeah. She laughed at it. I raised both of my children to have a sense of humor.
What'd you get her?
What?
What'd you get her for her birthday?
I hadn't. I got to celebrate it tonight. Her birthday was yesterday, and I see her on Thursdays. Because that's her schedule. Her schedule at Clemson. I get her money. My family doesn't do the birthday cake and the hats and all that. My family gives you a card with money in it. That's what my family does. So that's what I do with her and my son. Yeah, her mama's family, they do the hats with the birthday candles and all that and sing happy birthday. My family don't do that. My family's just lucky to be alive and here's some money.
That's a great way to do it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, my kids are going to be ready for life. They're not going to expect a trophy for everything, and they got to have a sense of humor. And they got to realize that, dang old Rocky says, people beat you down, you got to get back up. I hate that some of y'all, haven't learned that, but Bernie's going to teach it to y'all.
You can learn so much from a Rocky movie.
Yeah, you can.
Honestly.
Yeah, you can.
I thought you said Barack.
No, not that, no.
Both of those work anyways.
No, I disagree with you. I like The Rock, but you can't compare the two. Sorry. Plus 2x times 2x minus 7 to the 1/2. And all I did there, I didn't do anything, but I started putting stuff together. And it looks like to me we can take that 2 and we can cancel that 2 right here. And we've got x squared times 2x minus 7 to the 1/2 power plus 2x times 2x minus 7 to the 1/2 power. That's a negative 1/2. Now, at this point, you could say this is the answer. Now, you could factor out an x. You could bring the 2x minus 7 to the 1/2 downstairs. You could factor out a 2x minus 7 to the negative 1/2 with the x. There's 2 or 3 different things you could do. I'm going to look and see what they did, and if I need to do it, I'll do it, but there's several different answers you could have there. I think they're probably going to factor out the negative 1/2 power, but I may be wrong if they do anything. They may not even do anything. Yep, they got a common denominator of 2x, so that's what they did. See, they factored out an x too. So we can go ahead and do that. Let's factor out an x and the 2x minus 7 to the negative 1/2 power. Let's do that. I'm going to make it bigger, smaller, so we can get it in. So I'm going to factor out an x, and I'm going to factor out a 2x minus 7 to the negative 1/2 power. And that's going to leave me x right here, and that's going to leave me 2, and what is 1/2 divided by negative 1/2? Well, that's 1/2 minus a negative 1/2, which is what? It should be, no. If you're dividing, that's quotient rule. 1/2 minus a negative 1/2 is 1/2 plus 1/2, which is 2 halves, which is what? 2x minus 7 to the first power over. Oh, there's no denominator. I'm sorry. Okay, now distribute that 2. Now we've got x times 2x minus 7 to the negative 1/2 power times, what's x plus 4x?
5x.
5x minus what, 14? Y'all check me on that. Yeah. Over, I keep trying to get the cart before the horse. Now that negative 1/2 can come downstairs, and now you've got x times 5x minus 14 over, and you could distribute that x if you wanted to, over 2x minus 7 to the positive 1/2, which is equal to, and if you wanted to go further, 5x squared minus 14x over the square root of 2x minus 7, and you could go further and rationalize the denominator if you wanted to. All right? Next. And that's 1.721, 1.741, 41/13. Find the equation for the tangent line to the graph. Oh, I hate these. These are so bass backwards. I'm going to do it the way I do it, and if it's not right, the hell with it. All right, so y is equal to x to the third minus 16x to the 12th power. Y prime is equal to 12 times x to the third minus 16x to the 11th power times 3x squared minus 16. That's the chain rule. And really, there's not anything else you can do now except plug in 4 and get the slope at that point. I think that's what they're wanting to do. So let's plug in 4. Y prime of -4 is equal to 12 times -4 to the third power minus 16 times -4 to the 11th power times 3 times -4 to the second power minus 16. So that's going to be equal to 12. -4 to the third power is -64 plus 64. Isn't that a 0? Somebody check me. No, that's 56. What's 16 times 4? That's 24. 64. But it looks like to me that's going to be 0. Y'all check me. What's -4 to the third power?
64.
-64 plus 64. They may have wanted it to go out because it takes out everything. It takes out the whole thing. So m is equal to 0, and that's going to take out, so it's going to be a horizontal line. So m is equal to 0 at -4, 0. Y minus 0 is equal to 0 times x minus a -4. Well, 0 takes all that out. No, it doesn't. 0x, doesn't it? Yeah. So y is equal to 0, which is the x-axis. So I don't know if that's what they want, but that's what I see. At least they ought to have made it where the slope is not equal to 0. I'm going to just type in 3 because I really don't know what it says. The equation of the tangent line should be this right here. Should be this right here. That's the equation of the tangent line. Right there. Okay? So I don't know what they put, but we're going to put in 3. Okay, they did get 0. So, now see, the equation for the tangent line is not 0. The equation for the tangent line is that equation right there. You plug in m is equal to 0 and you get y is equal to 0. And so to me, that's not a good question. I don't like the way that question's worded. Okay, next. Hopefully that helps you out. Got to know that chain rule. All right, that was number 41. This is number 47/14. Okay, another substitution. You can do it two different ways. I'm going to do it the simple way. All right, f of u is equal to u to the fourth, and g of x is equal to blah, blah, blah. Find f composed of g. Well, what is f? Parentheses to the fourth power, right? Yes, Hubert. So, f is equal to parentheses to the fourth power. Right there. And what are we going to do with g? Plug it in. 2x to the fourth plus 2. Chain rule. F prime of whatever they want. What do they want? F composed of g prime whatever is equal to 4. 2x to the fourth plus 2 to the third power. And the derivative of 2x to the fourth is 8 what? X. So f composed of g prime is equal to 32x times 2x to the fourth plus 2 to the third power. Now, they want you to plug in -1. So, 32 times -1 times 2 times -1 to the fourth power plus 2 raised to the third power. -1 to the fourth power is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 to the third power is what, 64? And 64 times -32. Y'all check my math.
No, 4 to the fourth power is 2.
Okay, well, no, 4 to the third. And multiply those two together. It's really a VA number.
Shouldn't that 8x at the start have a third, x to the third power?
You're right. Thank you. So that's to the third. My bad. So that's going to be to the third, which is still make it -32, doesn't it? Yeah. So what's -32 times 64?
Negative 2,048.
2,048. Everybody get that?
Yep.
That should be your answer if I didn't screw anything else up. Claritin and Benadryl affects you. -2,048. And you feel good about yourself. Right, Jake?
Of course.
What about you, Asian Jake? Feel good about yourself?
Yeah, sure.
You sound very, very persuasive. 49/15. 49/15. Same thing. I'm going to go to another one if that's okay. Okay, is that good? I'm going to go to another one. I thought that was the same one. 49 again. Mr. Nowak, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. 57/16. 57/16. A nested problem. And what do we do on this?
Skip it.
Quit. Yeah, skip it. Why? Because it's too what?
Too hard.
Complicated, exactly. And Bernie, we don't want to raise the bar. We want to lower that bar. So f of x is equal to x to the third plus 3 minus 5x raised to the 1/2 power, and that's to the square root. And then f of x is equal to x plus 3 minus 5x to the 1/2 power raised to the what?
Half power.
Now the power rule says that I can take that 1/2 and I can distribute it, right? So I can distribute that. This is to the 1 power, and that's to the, or we could use the chain rule with what we got. Doesn't matter. You can do either one. All right. I'm going to use the chain rule. F prime of x is equal to 1/2 times x plus 3 minus 5x to the 1/2 to the negative 1/2 times derivative of x is 1 plus the 1/2 is going to come, that's going to be 1/2, 3 minus 5x to the negative 1/2 times negative 5. And then take the derivative of what's inside. Now, we've just completed the calculus, so all that's left now is what?
Algebra.
Algebra. So, looks like we can do something over here, because let's see, that negative 5 is going to be that 1/2. I'm trying to see if there's any other f prime of x. That's going to be, you can bring this downstairs, and that's going to be the square root of all that trash. You could take that negative 1/2 and distribute it here and here. So I don't know what they're going to do, but we're going to do it this way. 1/2, and then that's going to be x plus x to the negative 1/2 plus 3 minus 5x to the negative 1/4. I don't think they're going to do that, but it's worth a shot. 1 minus 5/2, 3 minus 5x to the negative 1/2. You could use the FOIL method. I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna see what happens when I distribute. I'm gonna go over here and say f prime of x, or f of x is equal to x to the 1/2 plus 3 minus 5x to the what? 1/4? And then that's going to give me f prime of x is equal to 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 plus 1/4 3 minus 5x to the negative 3/4 multiplied by negative 5. I believe this will be easier. And that's going to be f prime of x is equal to 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 plus, be a minus, sorry, minus 5/4 3 minus 5x to the negative 3/4.
I think that first x is missing a cube.
Did I do that again? Where?
At the very beginning.
Oh, horse crap. Well, somebody could have said something. Y'all want to go ahead and say it now? Oh, yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be, but I didn't say nothing. Y'all want to go ahead and say it?
I really was. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. Well, shut up.
To be honest, I didn't even
3
notice
halves.
it.
And that would be 3/2, right? Let's see. 1/2, that's 3/2. 3/2 and 1/4. So this would be 3/2 x to the negative. So 3/2 minus, it'd be 1/2, right? Plus 1/2. I'm trying to salvage this. Just give me a second. I'll salvage this in a second. Okay, check to see if that's right now. So this would be 3/2. 3/2 x to the 1/2. Check that and make sure that's right. Now over here, that would be x. Let's see here. Okay, that would be. Now let me erase this because I'm not doing this. And that'll mess me up since I messed up the first one. So That's to the 1/2. So that'd be 1/2 x to the third plus 3 minus to the negative 1/2 times 3x. Now, does that make that better? 3x squared? Does that take that out? 3x squared and 3x squared. Does that make that better? I think
I
that
should have just skipped it.
Now, you can see that you've got to get a common denominator here. He's got a 1/4 here. Does everybody see that 1/4? You got to make this a 4th. So what does that make this? 2 will go into 4 2 times, right? And 2 times 1 is what? And what's 2 plus 1? And what do we got here? So you can see that it's starting to look like the same problem. You got the 5/2 here, you got the 5/4 here, but this 3 doesn't have a 2 under it. So that's where they're getting, that's where you're getting the 4 here. They're multiplying by 2 or setting. So you can see that the best thing to do on this problem is to distribute the 1/2. And I think you'll find that this answer is a whole lot more obtainable than doing all that algebra. And we haven't even got to the second, third, and fourth derivatives yet. That's 1.8. So let's see what they did. They probably say, please skip this problem because you can't do it. That's probably what they said do. Right, Jake?
Yep.
Did you skip it, Jake?
I haven't got to it yet.
Oh, okay. So 1 over, yeah, they did a whole lot more algebra. There's the, see the 3x squared right here? There's the 3x squared. And then 5 over 2, 3 minus 5x. Yeah, they factored out. They factored out they factored out a half, it looks like, because they got to the 1/2 power here. So they factored out a good bit. And this goes on the bottom. That's supposed to be 3/2, isn't it? Yeah, that's supposed to be 3/2. -1 times 3 is 3/2. I left that out. So make a 3 right there. So there's your 3/2 right there. Okay, bring that down, and then 3 minus 5, bring that down. And there's square root of a square root is to the 4th power. So you see that you can get the same answer, and there's your 1/2 right there. So you got the answer. And remember, I'm going to be lenient with your answers, okay? And they should be also. And that's why I want to try to do as much multiple choice on the answer, because there's a lot of algebra to do on this side and here to get that. Now, we could do it, but I don't want to waste a lot of time doing the algebra. Y'all can work with it at home and try to get that to come out the same.
That's one of the most frustrating parts about the calculus book. It's just the fact that half the questions don't provide an example, or they just copy the formula.
Yeah. Well, they're assuming. They're assuming that they're assuming so that's why. And the algebra, you should. Now, 1.7, that's number 57. Let's see. Okay, we're going into 1.8 now. All right, so let's go into 1.8. 1.8, number 5. Now, look, don't do like I did the other day when I did this problem. I didn't even look at the directions. Second derivative. So you got to take the derivative twice. So let's take the derivative twice. F double prime means that you're taking the second derivative. Now this is going to be very important with your business calculus, because when you get into 230, you're going to be taking the first and second derivative a good bit. Just like in engineering calculus, you take the first derivative and the second derivative for velocity and acceleration. So this, and the first and second derivative, the first derivative will give you the intercepts, the second derivative will give you the inflection points of your curve. So that's very important. So 3x, f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 15x minus 5x to the negative 2. F prime of x is equal to 6x minus 15 plus 10x to the negative 3. Now let that sink in. What's negative 2 times negative 5? Positive 10. What's negative 2 minus 1? Now I'm going to take the second derivative. 6 minus 0 minus minus 30x to the negative 4. So our first derivative is f prime of x is equal to 10x to the negative third plus 6x minus 15. F double prime of x is equal to negative 30x to the negative fourth plus 6. .8 is a good section. If you can do all of 1.8 problems, you can pretty much handle everything before that because it's going to incorporate everything. Put a 3 here. And that's the same thing I got, except I left the x to the negative 4 with the 30. So you can put the x to the 4th on the bottom if you wanted to. Okay? All right? Good test question right there. So write that down as a test question. Jake, you understand? You're awful quiet.
Yeah, I'm good. I was just thinking.
So you just thinking. 1.8, 13. All right, try 21. That's the one we did the other day, and I didn't look at the directions. I only did the first derivative. There you go. And of course, we're doing the second derivative. Rewrite, take the first derivative, then the second. F of x is equal to x squared plus 1 to the 6/7 power. Chain rule, f prime of x is equal to 6/7 x squared plus 1 to the what? Negative 1/7, right?
Yep.
Times 2x. Hopefully I didn't mess that one up. So f prime of x is equal to 12x over 7 x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/7. Y'all check me to make sure I hadn't made a mistake. Now take the second derivative using the chain rule again. Negative 1/7, that'd be what? Negative 12x over 49 times x squared plus 1 minus what? 6/7? No, 8/7. Negative 8/7 times 2x. And that 2x will go over here. And that'll make it negative 24x over 49 times x squared plus 1 to the negative 8/7 power. And that should be f double prime of x, and they could make that the 24x, negative 24x over 49, 8th root, 7th root of x squared plus 1 to the 7th power, or 7th root of the 8th power. They could write it like that. That'd be the 8th root of x squared plus 1 to the 7th power, right? That'd be on the bottom. That's probably what they did, but I'm not going to say that until I see it. Okay, they did not. They only took it downstairs. They just took it downstairs and put it with the 49. Now, why did I get, they don't have an X here. Why did I not, did I do something wrong? Must have. I got 12, and they got 5x plus 7. Okay, I've got something wrong. Did I do something totally wrong? Where did I get 5x squared plus 7? I'm sorry, folks. I have no idea where they got that 5x squared plus 7. They got x squared plus 1 right here. That's what I got. I don't know where they got that. I don't know where they got that question from. There's not even a 5x plus 7 in the problem. All right, let's check my math. 6/7, x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/7. 6/7 minus 7/7 is what? 1/7. And the derivative of x squared is 2x. 2x times 6 is 12x. Okay, does everybody agree that I got the first derivative correct? I still don't have a 5x squared plus 7. I don't know where that come from. Okay, let's keep going. Negative 1/7 times 12. That should be negative 12x over 49. Okay, they got 12 over 49. But I don't know where the x went. Where did the x go? Yeah, let's see what they did. I bet you $1 they don't have 5x plus 7. Let's see what they did. Oh, God, I got to add. Oh, I'm not doing all that. Let me go to view an example and see what they did. This is x squared plus 5, 7/8. Let me move all this out of the way. Oh, my gosh. Why can't they just move out of the way? Okay, that's something like I got, right? I still don't see 5x squared plus 7 coming into the play, but next. And now they're taking the derivative, so that'll be negative 1/8 would be what? Negative 7 over 32. Negative 7 over 32 Negative 1/8, that'd be negative what? 9/8 times 2x. So whatever I just said, that should be the answer. They're using the product rule. I don't know why they're using the product rule. I guess that's what I got, right? Negative. That's what they're doing. They're using the product rule. My bad. Let me go back, because this has an X, and that's why. This has an X. You can't use the chain rule with an X right here. You can use the chain rule with a number. So I messed up on that one. Sorry. So let me go back right here and fix it for y'all. Let me just take this out right here. See if I can take that out. Nope. Okay, you got to use the product rule here. I knew something was wrong, because that 5x squared plus 7 just showed up. I either knew something was wrong or there. So now we got to use the handy dandy product rule, because this is not a number, it has a what in it? It has a variable in it. So therefore you have to use the product rule. And I forgot all about that. So, here we go. First, times the derivative of the second, plus the second, times the derivative of the first. All right? So now that's going to be, let's go with, let me use green. So that's going to be negative 1/7 x squared plus 1 to the negative what? Negative 8/7 times 2x. And over here, x, the derivative of any number with x is the number, so that's going to be 12/7. (12x) over 7 times all of that plus x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/2 times 12/7. How are we doing up there, Pendleton? How are we doing, Pendleton? That means you're either doing something or what?
Moving along.
Moving along? Well, I appreciate you communicating, especially for the 3 others that are still working on their laptops. Anyway, that 2x comes out. So that's going to be 12x over 7 times negative 1/7 times 2x over 1. Y'all make sure I don't mess up. X squared plus 1 raised to the negative 8/7 plus 12 over 7 x to the 7th. That's not x to the 7th. X squared plus 1 to the negative 1/2. I'm still not coming up with a 5x squared plus 7, so I don't know where they got that from. So I get 12x times 2x. So what is that? 24, negative 24x. Somebody check me. That's going to be negative 24x over 49 x squared plus 1 to the negative 8/7 plus 12 over 7 x squared plus 1 to the negative 1/2. I still don't have a clue where they got that 5x squared plus 7.
I like all your room
Yeah, that's just shut up, class is over before Pendleton goes into convulsions. No, they're fine. They're watching their laptops. Sorry. Okay, you can get a common denominator of 49.
Is he leaking?
I'm still trying to figure out how they got that 5x squared plus 8. I'm gonna check this one out because I don't think, I'm not saying I'm right. I just don't understand where they got that 5x squared plus 7. Does anybody see where they got that?
Is it when you multiply by 7, the right half of the problem, to get the common denominator?
Well, you would get a 49 here. 49, that'll go at 7 times 12 is what? 84?
Yeah. But you don't multiply inside the parentheses?
No, you can't touch it because it's under a radical. And this right here, that comes downstairs. This would be negative 24x over 49 times x squared plus 1 to the 8/7 plus 84 over 49 x squared plus 1 to the 1/2. So you still got to get a common denominator of, it doesn't even match. I might have to do this problem and come back with you on it. Let's go to the next problem. I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave that one up because I'm gonna work on it after class. I want to do one more. I know some of y'all will have a fit, but I want to do one more. I don't think that problem, either there's something I'm missing right there, or there is something totally gone haywire on that problem. That one is what, 21? Let's go see what this one is. 20. That's 21. That's 27. So let's look at number 27. This might be a little bit different. I want to see if I have the same problem with that one. If I have the same problem with that one, then I am doing something wrong. This won't be the first time the calculus problem is wrong. 140, they're wrong all the time. Find double prime. Y is equal to 4x plus 1 over 2x minus 3. So y prime is going to be denominator times numerator prime minus numerator times denominator prime over denominator squared. And that's going to be 2x minus 3, and that's going to be a 4 minus 4x plus 1 times 2 over 2x minus 3 quantity squared. And that's going to be 8x minus 12 minus 8x minus 2, check my math there, over 2x minus 3 raised to the second power, and the 8x's cancel if I've done everything right. And negative 2 minus 2, 12 minus 2 is negative 14. So our first derivative is negative 14 over 2x minus 3 quantity squared. So let's make that small. I'm about ready to quit.
Fahrenheit. Today's high is 51 degrees Fahrenheit, and the low is 41 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be a rainy day. And now, here are today's top headlines provided by Google. Elizabeth Warren, once a French
Trump's a racist and we're all going to die. All right, so here we're going to take the second derivative, and that's going to be denominator times numerator prime. Oh, that's easy. That goes out. Minus the numerator times denominator prime, which would be 2 times 2x minus 3 raised to the 1 power times 2. Somebody check my derivative there, please. All over 2x minus 3 to the 4th power. Now somebody tell me why that first part goes out. Because what's the derivative of negative 14? 0. So that's why the first part goes out. 4 times 14 is what? 56? Somebody check me. And that should be a positive 56. So that should be 56 times 2x minus 3 over 2x minus 3 raised to the 4th power. That cancels and make that a 3. So the second derivative should be 56 over 2x minus 3 raised to the 3rd power. And I hope there's not a 5x minus 7 in that one. There's nothing wrong with doing first and second derivatives, but when you got something that has 5x minus 7 come up, I don't know what that one. Now, if I got this one wrong, we're going to quit. We're going to quit anyway, but that's my Charlie Brown music.
Another question, but it wasn't correct.
It wasn't.
Oh my God. Was it correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means I'm not crazy. That first question, we're gonna revisit that one. Let me delete this one. Delete. Let's see, what number is that? That's 27. Delete. Okay. So I need to go back over this one after class because that one I don't think's right. Okay, let me call the roll, and y'all can, Pendleton, y'all can get out of Hades as quick as you can. I'm going to go bottom up because I don't know who the 130s are. So Mr. Miyagi can leave early. Go, Mr.
Thank
Miyagi.
you.
And this is the Easley campus. Billy's there. Dupree?
Yeah.
Is he there?
Pendleton.
Okay, thank you. Hall?
Here.
Callio? No Callio? Reynolds?
No.
No Reynolds? And Jake's there. Jake, hang around. You got to tell me to do that. If you don't tell me, I'll forget. Hold on. 07. Hopefully this will be Pendleton so they can get the hell out of Dodge. Cavendish.
Here.
Cox.
Here.
Durig.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
Gear.
Here.
Grant.
Here.
Hammond.
Here.
Jackson Ben. Jackson Joe. Jacksons are not there. Minor. Nowak.
Here.
Repke.
It just marked you absent.
Rebke.
Mr. McClure.
Yes.
I'm here. Grant Minor.
Speak up, please. Thank you. Reimer
Here.
and Staggs. No Staggs. Now listen, we are getting to 1.8. What does that mean?
Homework's gonna be due soon.
Homework's going to be due soon, and what? And the test is coming. So we're talking test next week. So just put that on your agenda. And let me get the Anderson campus. Thank y'all. Pendleton, have a good weekend.
You too.
I'm at Pendleton.
Ray. Grace Pendleton, yes. Marshall's here. McCullough. McCullough, are you at Anderson? I mean, Pendleton? Guess not.